Hi, welcome to my 100 square feet or 100 square foot, or for the international people, that'll be about 10 by 10 or 10 square meter home gym setup. Now, it's going to basically be the final or the finalized version of this home gym, which basically means I'm already done and finished with everything in here. Okay? In the past, I have shown some people like a way earlier tour of this home gym, but the thing is, that was still like a prototype version of this home gym, so I wasn't really finished with everything at all until now. Okay, I have took some extra time adding a bunch of different stuff in here over time, and getting everything that I want or need in here over time. Since now that I'm finished with everything in here, I'm ready to give everyone the tour of this final and finalized version of this home gym. In the future, not much is going to really change at all, so that's why I say everything's already finished and done. Maybe in the future, since we can't predict the future at all, maybe in the future I could put like a 200-pound sandbag in here, maybe some more attachments, maybe like a 5-wheel training system, maybe a Beyond Power Ultra, or maybe even like one of those like Westside Barbell Scout reverse hypers. Just because, you're able to fold that thing up and do reverse hypers on that thing and stuff like that. But besides that, I'm already done and finished with everything in here, and I don't really need those things at all. But those things will still be really cool. Maybe I could add those few things in the future. We never know what's going to happen in the future anyway. It's unpredictable. But besides that, I'm done and finalized and finished with everything. So I'm ready to give you the tour now. Let's go through all the free weights. So every home gym will have like a set of small dumbbells, right? And I'm no exception to it. So I have a set of 3-pound, a set of 10-pound, and a single 8-pound set of small dumbbells. Now, I mostly use these just to put on top of my weight stack machine if I need different weights or like different extra increments. Just because, a chin pin on my machine is not going to really work at all. So I can just grab one of these, put on top of my weight stack machine. It's just going to just stay on there and not slip off at all, which is really, really awesome. Sometimes I grab these just to mess around with these, but it's just, just sitting here. It's been around the house forever, so it's going to stay here forever, okay? Just because it has its use of being extra weight for my weight stack machine, basically. As for the main dumbbells that I actually use the most, would be this pair of old school adjustable weight plate loaded spin lock dumbbells. It is adjustable in 5-pound increments. For most exercises, I'm able to load up to 120 pounds. For other exercises or some exercises where, the dumbbell size wouldn't really matter at all. For example, like, the circus dumbbell clean and press or the single dumbbell clean and press, or, the single arm dumbbell row or Bulgarian split squats where the dumbbell size wouldn't really matter. For some exercises where the dumbbell size doesn't really matter, I'm able to load up to 150 pounds for some exercises like that. If you know what I mean. Now, given the fact that I like to use accommodating resistance a lot, I'm able to combine the dumbbell weights with either like a pair of chains, like a pair of like 20 to 25 pound pair of chains, or what resistance bands, which means I'm able to lift the dumbbells with accommodating resistance, which makes the lift a lot more harder, So yeah. So I'm able to go as heavy as my body can handle on these dumbbells if I really want to, given the fact I'm able to add accommodating resistance, whether it is through a pair of chains or through resistance bands combined with the dumbbell weights, basically. Alright. I also have like a really old power block right here that is loadable in 5-pound increments as well. And it goes up to 50 pounds. What I like about these power blocks is that you can grab these bottom 2 handles right here. And you can do like a bunch of different stuff with those bottom 2 handles. You can really, really get creative with that, But besides that, it's just really sitting here just in case I need it, It feels really good for like weighted sit-ups or like grabbing those bottom 2 handles, doing a bunch of stuff with those bottom 2 handles, Or you can just like grab these main handles right here and just use it as an actual dumbbell. But the thing is, I only have one of them, you know. But the cool thing about these power blocks, since they're like a really, really old version that they don't sell anymore from like the 80s or 90s, this thing has lasted basically 3 generations. It went from my brother-in-law's father down to my brother-in-law and then down to me. So this thing has like quite a bit of history. It lasted 3 generations, so it's a really cool thing. You know what I mean? But besides that, it's just a power block. You know, it's just sitting here just in case I need it. You know. After the dumbbells will just be like a typical standard set of kettlebells. You know, for me, like a standard set would be like a light single, you know, a medium single. Usually you're supposed to have a medium double, but I don't really have a medium double at all. I just have a medium single. And then it'll be a heavy double and then a heavy single, you know. Typical standard kettlebell set. I know some people, they want to have a light double as well, but you know, I don't really have a light double at all. So it's going, like, the weight of the kettlebell is going to really be different for everyone, but you know, that's going to just be like a typical standard set in most situations. So for me, it's going to be like a 15-pound kettlebell for like a light single, or possibly like a light double if it was a double, you know. And then the medium weight is going to be a 30-pound for, you know, a medium single. If it was a medium double, it will be a double 30-pound. And then for the heavy double, it's going to be a double 50-pound, you know. And then the heavy single is going to be a 60-pound. Those weights I just find personally perfect for me. I know for most cases you're supposed to have a 70-pound in place of the 60-pound instead, but I just prefer the 60. I just had a lot more fun with it, especially like messing around with it. So, you know, I got to try the 60 before, you know, I bought it, you know, and I had a bunch of fun with that. So it's just a typical standard set of kettlebells. That's all I really need to explain, you know. And then after the kettlebells will be all the free weights right here. You know, I have all these chains that also has weight to it. I have, you know, all these weight plates right here, including the ones on the dumbbells as well. In total, it's going to be about 585 pounds for the weight plates by itself, including like the 50 pounds of chains. I believe it's going to be about 635 pounds of weight if you include the chains. So I have about over 600 pounds of weight, a little bit over that in total. If you include the chains, you know. So yeah, all my weight plates are right there. And then as for the, you know, the weight plate loaded equipments that I'm able to load the weight plates on, I have an EC curl bar right here. This is the Impex brand. It's a really, really old bar, but I do love this thing. You just use it for upper body stuff or whatever I need to use it for. But the thing is that, you know, with this thing, the weight limit on this is about 200 pounds only. Since this thing only weighs about 15 pounds, it's still a pretty good weight limit in terms of like doing upper body stuff. So that's enough for upper body stuff, at least for me personally. You know, besides bench and, you know, the compound movements, of course, but for like the isolation work and other stuff, that's probably more than enough like weight in terms of the weight limit that I can handle, right? And then after this like easy curl bar, the Impex easy curl bar, I have these pair of heavy duty loading pins. The weight limit on these, I'm not really too sure. Some people say it's about 400 pounds for the loading pins. I just got these from Amazon, and I got like the ones with like the highest star and like the best quality. And I don't really think too much of the brand or anything like that, so it has no brand name. But it's just a nice pair of loading pins. You can do a bunch of stuff with these loading pins. What I like to do with these loading pins is that I like to like use it for yoking. Just because I just like just tie like these chains on the ends of my bar, and then like attach these loading pins on the end with the weight plates on the loading pins, and I like to use that for yoking, for a chain yoke. If you don't know what a chain yoke is, you can just search it up on YouTube. It's It's like a strongman thing. So what you do is that, like, you lift the weight up a little bit, and then you try to like walk with it as fast and as far as you can, basically. Since I have limited space, I just walk back and forth in place for as long as I can. I just walk like a few steps forward and then a few steps backward, and I keep on doing that for as fast and as long as I can. And that really builds up your endurance and your strength quite a bit. It's like a full body movement. It's really, really awesome strongman thing that you can do. And you can do a bunch of stuff with this loading pin. You can train your grip. You can train a bunch of different stuff with loading pins. It's a really, really, really versatile like weight plate loaded thing. And as for the main bar that I actually use the most, will be like a DIY strongman axle bar. I actually made this myself. A little bit with my dad as well. My dad helped me with the collars and the weight sleeves a little bit, but like I did everything else on my own. I also filled the inside with concrete, just because I don't really want a hollow axle bar. I want that thing to be filled up and to be a lot more solid and be a lot more stiff for an axle bar. It's just a standard like diameter. It's nothing like, it's not really a fat axle bar. I just prefer to have like a standard like axle bar, just because it's like really, really like versatile. It's as versatile as a barbell. It's basically like the same thing as a barbell, except like, the grip is just like a bit fatter, and there's no knurling on this. There's no grip texture on this, but it does everything that you can do on a bar, you can do on this basically. And I use this axle bar for everything, and I'm happy that I made this as a DIY. It took me about like a couple months, maybe like 1 month to like 2 months, something right around there. And I'm really, really happy that I made this axle bar. It weighs about 30 pounds, and I say the weight limit on this, I think it's about like, it's about 650 pounds to maybe like a bit under 700. At least that's what I'm researching. I know like most axle bar weight limits tends to be around the same range. And I think it's around the same range as those other axle bars as well. Since, I DIY'd this and I filled everything in with high strength concrete and stuff like that. I think the weight limit is going to be about the same. I like to lift with with accommodating resistance. Since I like to use bands and chains combined with the weight together. So I can go up to about that weight limit, which is really, really nice for me. I don't feel the need to go anything heavier than that, just because I don't really want to bend the bar or cause any issues with the bar. I just want to make sure the bar can handle the weight like really, really safely and still stay really stiff. This bar is a super stiff bar, since I filled the inside of it with concrete as well. It doesn't really bend like a deadlift bar like other typical bars. And like the sleeve doesn't really rotate either. It just stays still. It's fixed. So doing power cleans on this or like Olympic movements on this is going to be a lot more harder. And doing deadlifts on this is going to be a lot more harder too, since there's no knurling and the grip is like thicker as well. So this thing can really make you like work really hard, like towards the like your typical normal lifts. And you're going to feel this thing quite a lot. This thing really, really pumps you up in terms of like, especially when you like do max effort and some other stuff and your typical type of lifts on this. There are all these free weights right here and the bars and loading pins and this stuff right here. I have all my resistance bands right here. I have both the tube and the loop type of resistance bands. You can't say you like accommodating resistance if you don't have bands as well. I prefer to use the bands on my machines a lot more, just because accommodating resistance on machines feel freaking crazy amazing. They feel really, really nice to use the bands combined with the machines. And I like to use the bands mostly for that. Sometimes I like to use them for deadlifts and some other type of lifts. Maybe like some stuff with the dumbbells. I like them for Bulgarian split squats as well. They feel amazing for Bulgarians. But besides that, it's just like a small wall bands. I got both types, the tube and the loop. I use the tube just to like do some other stuff that you cannot do with the loop. You're gonna have to need both of them anyways if you want to have like the best of accommodating resistance and like resistance bands type of exercises. There are some days where I don't really like to do weight, so I just use resistance bands instead. Like for example, if I have to like do like a deload week to take the load off my body for like a week or like a couple weeks, I just use resistance bands. You know, they can do like a bunch of different stuff. But what I like them for the most is accommodating resistance for sure. I also have like a ripstick resistance band system inside my drawer right there, along with a bunch of other stuff up in the drawer I'm going to show you later for a little bit. By a bunch of stuff, I probably didn't like mean like a bunch. It's probably like a bunch of like generic stuff, but I do have like a ripstick like resistance band system in there. And what you do is like you put like a couple small bands on like this tiny handle, and you try to like pull it like out as far as you can and try to hold on that and try to stabilize your upper body while you're doing that. And it's really, really good for upper body stability. But besides that, it's just like, you know, a generic typical set of bands. All the bands and free weights, we have a multi-gym machine. It was actually given to me as a free gift from Dr. Andy, since, you know, him and his family didn't really use it at all. So I'm really thankful for this free gift. You know, I love this thing so much that, you know, it doesn't matter if I win a lottery or no matter what happens, I just can't get rid of this thing. It's going to stay with me forever. Okay? Now, there tend to be a lot of like different versions and like a bunch of different multi-gym machines nowadays, since they tend to be extremely popular now, especially with home gyms and some gyms in different places. But, you know, I have one of like the really original OG ones, like the, you know, the brand that started the genre of the multi-gym machines, right? Which is the Marcy MWM988. You know, the Marcy multi-gym machine. So I have like the original multi-gym machines before they started like copying Marcy and started making their own different versions. But Marcy was the first one to basically do it, or one of the first ones. I know Bowflex was one of the first ones too, and some other companies as well, but these are one of the really first multi-gym machines. You know, I love this thing a lot, okay? Now, the only cons is that you're going to have to get an extension chain to set up for more range of motion on the machine. The range of motion and some exercises are not going to be the best, since obviously it's a multi-gym and a multi-purpose machine. It's not really a specialized machine, but still, it does every exercise that I want to do, and it does everything that I love, okay? So I love to use this thing a lot, okay? So, the weight ratio on this machine is not 2-to-1. It's not even 1-to-1 either. It's more like 1-to-1.25. So it's going to be a bit higher than a 1-to-1. It feels like one of those old school machines where you're going to have to use less weight. Just because it's an old school machine, and old school machines tend to feel like harder compared to like the newer modern machines. But it kind of like give you that really old school feel. And I really love the old school machines personally, you know. I love like older machines, you know. So, yeah. For some exercises, the ratio might feel like a bit higher than a 1-to-1.25. Sometimes it feels like a 1-to-1.3, maybe a 1-to-1.4 for some exercises, at least in my opinion. But for the most part, it's like a 1-to-1.25, you know. At least that's like the most accurate, like the manufacturer said it was, or something like that. But I did read it up, you know, and research this machine quite a bit. So typically with a multi-gym, multi-purpose machine, you have the upper cable area to do all the upper cable stuff with that. And it always comes with an extension chain for you to like set up the range of motion for whatever exercise you need to do. Just because, you know, the con with this machine is that, you know, the cable range is like a lot more limited compared to like a normal machine or like a normal cable machine. But you can get your way around it by getting this like an extension chain and just setting your attachment up on the chain to get more range of motion that way, you know. So you got your upper cable area, like I said earlier, and then you got your bench area. You can also like put your hips right here on this preacher pad, and you can also do rows with this as well, just like that. You can also do it like unilaterally or bilaterally as well, so it's up to you. You also have the leg extension as well. You know, you can also do this the leg extension single leg or double leg if you want. It's up to you, and you really have a lot of freedom in terms of doing that as well. You know, same thing with like the bench press. You can also do it with like a single arm as well, or you can also do it double. You know, so you have a lot of freedom with this machine. You know, which I like a lot. For the leg curl, you have to do it while you're standing, and you have to put your leg right here, and you have to do it this way while you're standing. So it's like a standing single leg curl. I know that variation of leg curl is not really as popular nowadays, but you know it's still a really good and effective form of leg curl. And then next to the leg extension and single leg curl area, you also have the preacher pad right here. You can also remove this and take this out if you need to. It's not just a preacher pad, it's also a multi-purpose pad. You can like, you know, use this and put your hips right here to keep you stable for rows. You can also use this for a bunch of different stuff to keep you stable. So it's like a multi-purpose pad, and it's also a preacher pad, but you can take it out whenever you want. You can turn it wherever you want. Just in case you don't want to use this on this machine, you want to use it on other stuff or for other stuff as well. You can just turn it around here and just use this for other stuff. I know a lot of people like to just use this as like an actual preacher pad for with like free weights and stuff. So they just put like their arms right there and stuff like that. You can use this pad for like a bunch of different things as long as you can get creative with it, you know. If I like to do if I want to you know, grab like these long pair of chains and put my handles right there and set up for like a cable crossover, I can just put my butt down on the pad, stabilize myself, and do cable flies that way by being really stable. So you can use this to stabilize yourself for a lot of things, you know. After all that stuff that I was yapping about, you got this bottom cable area right there, you know. I like to do like reverse squats. I like to do single leg reverse hypers. I can't really do double leg on this, sadly. So what I do is that I just put my foot right here and bend down as deep as I can. Try to get that posterior chain and just kick back, you know. It's similar to like a kickback, except you're like bending over as deeply as you can. Just so like it can go through to your posterior chain, you know. I love to do single leg reverse hypers. I love to do reverse squats. I like to use that bottom cable area too. I like to do lateral races and a bunch of different stuff. It's just a bottom cable area, you know. That's enough for explaining this machine. I love this thing. Even though it's not necessarily the best machine in the world, it's not like the most specialized thing. It's like a multi-purpose, and you can do like every single exercise that you want in here, you know. But we have the platforms that I actually used to lift and exercise on. You got this, you got this, you got this, and let me explain it in order. Starting off with the adjustable bench. So it goes upright, incline, flat, decline. So basically all the bench angles. This is more like a dumbbell bench, but you can use like really heavy dumbbells on this perfectly fine. It's not a barbell bench or like a powerlifting bench, so you can't really use this for barbells at all. You can only just use it for like heavy dumbbells, but in terms of like a dumbbell bench, it does everything that you want a dumbbell bench to do, you know. This is like the Nice People bench. It's like the best-selling bench on Amazon, basically, or one of the best ones that are best-selling, you know. I have this a bit modified. I like to put this pad right here, just because I tend to put this area really, really deep into the bench, and it feels a lot more comfortable with this this small pad right here. I just have it these bungeed on, but you know, if I were to get a different bench, it's probably going to be like a generic name brand bench, probably like a Rep or Titan or freaking Rogue or some other type of typical bench. But you know, I just got the best selling one on Amazon, and it's just this one, I guess. I know there's I think the Freebird, the Firebird or whatever they call it, and then the Lupus brand bench. This bench is also foldable too. You just grab a pin right here, take that out, and just fold it up whenever you need to. But I always have it out like this just because this is a dedicated area for my bench, you know. And then, you know, the other thing I don't like about it, besides it not being really as heavy duty, just only for dumbbells. I don't really like this for Bulgarian split squats. To be honest, you know, it feels horrible for that. So what I do instead is that I like to use this multi-purpose cushion for my Bulgarian split squats. Just put my feet right there, and it feels really good for Bulgarians. Okay, just because it's a lot more stable. It's you know, a lot more solid, and it feels really nice. Especially as like, you know, your feet pushes in on here, it feels really soft. So it's like stable, but it also has like a good cushion to it as well. I also like to use this just to like slam my slam ball on this if I want to do like some slam ball work for cardio. Just because you know, I don't really like to use you know, the slam ball and just like slam it on the ground. It just makes up too much noise. I got in some crap for it before by some family members for that, so I just prefer to just like slam it on this thing. You know, I can slam the ball as hard as I want on this thing, and it takes it really well. It takes the impact, and it's like reduces the noise quite a lot, you know. So yeah. Or if I just want to chill, I can just sit down on here and just chill whenever I want between my sets and stuff, you know. I also have this like chair as well if I want to chill too. So I have multiple places to chill in here, and I can always go back into the kitchen, and there's like a bunch more different chairs too to chill at, you know. So it's like a multi-purpose cushion. You can also do like some plyometric work on this if you want. Like if you want to do like some jumps or whatever, and do whatever you want. But yeah, it's just a multi-purpose cushion. And then after that would be my weightlifting platform. So this is going to be something similar to like a weightlifting block. Instead of it being made out of wood, it's made out of the materials that they use for safety straps on power racks. It's also made out of metal, you know. It's also height adjustable too, so you can adjust the height basically up to where my knee is. As you can see, pretty close to my knee. Down all the way down to like I think about 12 to 14 inches height. So it's about like 12 to 36 inches in adjustability around there. So what you do with this is that you can adjust the height to set up for like different barbell lifts. You can also like use this as like a barbell stand. So instead of having to have like a deadlift jack, you don't really need a jack at all. You can just stand the barbell on here and just load your weights on this. And it's just like using like a barbell stand or like loading plates on like a power rack or whatever. You don't really need a deadlift jack if you have this at all, you know. This thing's really cool. Since I said earlier, since it's height adjustable, you can use it to set up for 4 presses, sorcerer squats, RDLs, rows, and a bunch of different barbell lifts as well. Maybe some hang queens or power queens or whatever. I always have my bar in here just because my floor is actually a really sloped down floor. You see, it's not like straight. It's actually like sloped down. So I always have my bar in here so it can like stay stable and just not roll away. So I always have my bar in here. I do glaze this thing a lot, and I do love this thing quite a lot. You can also like, you know, let's say that you're feeling a lift or you need to drop the weight. You can just drop it on this platform, and it will like reduce the noise a lot. So you can use this as like a crash pad for like your Olympic lift or whatever lifts you're doing. Or if you're feeling a lift, like let's say like I'm feeling a sorcerer squat or I'm feeling whatever, I can just drop it down on here and it reduces the noise a lot, you know. The weight limit of these straps is like, I think probably about like 1,500 pounds if you just drop it normally, which I try to. But if you want to like drop it and like throw it down really hard, the weight limit is going to be around 800 for that type of dropping. But if you just drop it normally, it can take like 1,500 easily. at least from the way they built it. I also had to import this from Asia. This came from either China or Japan or Korea, one of those countries. And I got really lucky because I didn't really have to wait for the import time. Like they had some in stock that was already in my country that they were trying to get rid of, and it was selling out really fast. So what I did is I got to order it, and I didn't really have to wait for the import. It was just already in my country, and it just came to me in like a few days. So it was imported ahead of time, which is awesome. But I did imported this from one of those countries. But yeah. Yeah, I love this thing so much. It's a weightlifting platform. Like the Chinese powerlifters and like the Chinese weightlifters who do like some like Olympic stuff or like the weightlifting type of stuff, they use this a lot. Okay, this is like a really new thing. It's also a really niche thing as well, but it's a really nice thing. I love this thing a lot. Okay. But yeah. It's a weightlifting platform. I don't have a squat rack, I don't have a power rack. I don't think I really need those. You know, if I want to squat, I just do searchers. I don't even like back squats at all. I just hate them. So I prefer either searchers or Bulgarians. I do a lot of Bulgarians, split squats. You know, I love Bulgarian split squats. But the other ones I love the most is the searchers. Or, you know, I like to do like, if I just want to deadlift, I can always just deadlift off here. And then if I want to do some other lifts, maybe like 4 presses, I can just 4 press on this. Or if I need to do like an actual bench press, I can just bench press with my dumbbells. And my dumbbells can actually go really heavy as long as I have accommodating resistance, which I already do, you know. So yeah, I can already go as heavy as I want in terms of like SBD, but I'm going to have to do like a different SBD variations, to be honest, you know. I guess, you know, after explaining the platform and stuff the best I can, hopefully I tried. We're going to go through the rest of the stuff, like the attachments and then, you know, the cardio and then the various stuff that I have. Go through like the miscellaneous like calisthenics and cardio stuff real quick. We have an unassembled dip bar right there for dips. I just got to assemble it and put it together, and it's a dip bar. It's the Amazon Basics brand. And then we have the GHB gymnastics rings. I always have it set for pull-ups. I never change that. I have it set right there forever. You know, if I need to do dips, I have the dip bar. You know, if I need to do push-ups, I got all this push-up board stuff and some push-up handles, like, and other different stuff in there. You know, I also have an ab wheel. You know, I guess that's like a calisthenic ab movement, kinda. You know, and then as for like the cardio stuff, I have a jump rope. I have a magnetic resistance bike, mini bike, which is a Sunny Health brand, and I have like the smart hula hoop. You know, I have fun with that, and then, you know, also have I also have the kettlebells and like all this different stuff that I can do cardio with. I also can set up for a chain yoke to do cardio with that as well. If I can just do that with like less weight. I do like to do like a lot of farmer's carries for cardio, except like I do it with like a moderate weights, and I just like walk back and forth like this as fast as I can for as long as I can, and that's basically my cardio. I also like to like grab these resistance bands right here, and I kind of like put it like right here, and I kind of like use that as like a ski erg, basically like a cheap ski erg. Just grab it like that, and just do stuff like what you do with like a ski erg, and it's really really fun for that stuff. But you know, I like to use weights and a bunch of different stuff for cardio, but it's really just like simple stuff. It's nothing really crazy, you know, just like the battle ropes and some kettlebell stuff, and then farmer's carries and chain yoke or yoking, just like generic stuff, you know. But the cardio that I do the most, which was probably just be grabbing like these bands and just doing like the ski erg type of movement with that. But besides that, that's like the miscellaneous cardio calisthenics stuff that I just have around the house or around the home gym. You know, I'm going to edit this in. I forgot to mention this 20-pound slam ball right here. I like to like do some slam ball stuff for cardio as well, especially like the overhead slamming and like the chest slam or like the chest press. You know, you queen this ball up to your chest and then you just press it down. And I also like the rotational like slams as well. That's like extremely fun for cardio and it's really good for stress relief. So I also have like a 20-pound slam ball as some of my other cardio options as well. I have like a couple more ab wheels and like a couple more push-up stuff inside my room. Just in case, you know, I wake up in the middle of the night, I need to move my body around. I just do like some late night cardio with that, you know, some burpees or some, you know, high rep stuff or whatever. Or maybe a few push-ups here and there. You know, make myself like a little strength conditioning workout and go back to sleep. Because I'm one of those weird people who like to do their cardio before they go to sleep sometimes. It just feels really good doing that. As for the miscellaneous attachments, you know, I have a monkey feet attachment right here, which, you know, it helps you attach your feet to the dumbbells to do like some flex, like hip flexor stuff or whatever, and some tib raises or some different type of exercises with that. I have like you know, these handles right here, just generic handle attachments, and then, you know, the wrist wraps or ankle wraps. I like to use this for some stuff. And I also have these attached to a long chain, just because since I only have like a single pulley, right? I'm able to attach this on a single pulley, and do cable fights with these. So I can just attach it, like grab these and just attach it right there. And then you're able to do cable fights with that, or like reverse fly type of movements, or crossover movements with that on like a single pulley. So you don't have to have like a double pulley type of system, you know what I mean, or like a double cable system. So it's really, really nice for that. I always have it set up for that on this. But if I need to take out the handle and use this handle for other stuff, which I tend to like to use this for lateral raises and a bunch of different stuff, I can always do that, you know. I also have like these multi-purpose straps right here, which is really, really useful, by the way, you know. So there are times where I'll just take these out and I'll just like attach one side to like the big carabiner on the chain, and I'll just grab like the other side right here, and that's how I'll use my chains with my dumbbells. Combine the chains for accommodating resistance with my dumbbells that way. Or if I just want to use that for whatever, I can combine the chains with whatever as well. I also like to use this for my reverse squats. You know, that is also what I use for my single leg reverse hypers. Just because I'm not able to do like a bilateral or like a they call it a bilateral reverse hyper. I'm going to have to use a single leg or a unilateral reverse hyper. But it works really, really well for that. It still gets the job done as much as a regular reverse hyper, except I just had to switch sides regularly. But this feels really, really good for reverse squats. One of the best reverse squats attachments ever. What this thing is basically like a foot strap that was supposed to like go on my gym rings. It came with my gym rings, but I'm using it for something else now, just so I don't really waste space and make everything that I have that I own to be efficient, right? And then we have a tricep rope attachment. You also have a bar attachments right here, and also fat grips. I always have my fat grips on here. You know, I can use this bar for like a bunch of different stuff, you know. I can also use this as like a tricep bar too, since it has like a pretty deep ankle on it. It doesn't really look that deep on camera, but like in person, the ankle is pretty deep enough for it to like work as like a tricep bar a little bit, even though it doesn't look like it, you know. You use this for a bunch of stuff, but it's also lat pull down attachment, and it's also easy bar attachment for other stuff, you know. I guess after all the like the machine attachments, I also have like a dip belt right here to do weight calisthenics if I want to. I mostly just use weighted dips, not really weighted pull-ups or anything like that. Once in a while, I like to do weighted dips. And then, you know, I also have my foam roller right here. And I also have a landmine barbell attachment. So what you do with this is that you put the weight on one side and you put this on the other side. And you use that as like a landmine to train like a bunch of different type of movements. I love to do the rainbow movement on the landmine quite a bit. The rotational stuff, that's really fun. And sometimes I like to do like some presses on that and some like rows with like the landmine and stuff. It feels really, really good for that. A landmine like ball, this thing doesn't cost too much. It can help you like unlock a bunch of stuff on the bar. Really, really useful. Really, really nice to have. I also have like a Yes for All like dumbbell to kettlebell handle converter. I just have it sitting there. Just in case, like, if I want to, like, swing 70 pound with one arm as long as I can if I want to or whatever. So, yeah. And then, after that, you know, I just have, like, miscellaneous stuff right here. Miscellaneous carabiner. I have the elbow sleeves that I use a lot for my searchers. Or just in case I want to compress my upper body a little bit. I love to just eat those elbow sleeves. And I have a cotton gloves for the kettlebells. I guess you can call this an attachment for the kettlebells. Basically, with a cotton glove, it makes your grip a lot more slippery. So it's going to be harder to grip the kettlebell, you know. It's not really a grippy glove on a kettlebell at all, especially a metal kettlebell or cast iron kettlebell. But it works really well for all types of kettlebells to make them slippery, make the grip harder, which makes the kettlebell harder overall. Makes your body work harder. And you got kickboxing stuff, shin guards, boxing gloves, and then I also have like these clamps right here for my, you know, for my bar. So yeah, nothing else to say about that. And then, as for the rest of the various stuff, you know, also have this camera thingy. I have another pair of dumbbell handles just for backup. I just have them sitting here. Maybe I might use these for supersetting in the future. I have no idea. They're just sitting there, you know. And then you have wet wipes just for, you know, just wiping things down, like, you know, probably once a week or a couple of times a month. You know, not much people use this gym besides me, to be honest. So it's more like a couple times a month to make sure everything's clean and nice and well maintained. And I guess the rest of the stuff will just be generic stuff to maintain this home gym, you know. Really nothing much else crazy, you know. And then, last but not least, I'll probably show again a drawer full of like generic stuff. I got a written program for whatever that is, just in case I need to remember a program. And then jump rope, monkey feet, ripstick, and then I think the other drawer is about empty. But besides that, this is going to be about it. The rest of this is just storage and stuff. It's nighttime, but like if I want to like get the weather or like the fresh air or like feel the sunlight, these windows are kind of a bit thin. So I get to feel the natural weather as I'm working out here, which is really, really nice, despite this being indoor. Because originally this used to be a greenhouse until like a lot of ideas changed for this, and it's not a greenhouse no more. It became like a home gym over time. And then out here we have the backyard. It's nighttime, it's dark out here, but if I want to like bring my bar or whatever, or my kettlebells or whatever outside here, just exercise outside in the backyard, I can do that really, really easily. You know, basically within like a few seconds. You know, behind all this, there is the kitchen. If I want to grab food or grab drinks or whatever, I can always do that really, really fast. So this home gym is also in like the back of the house. So a lot of stuff I do, you know, a lot of people are not gonna hear it at all. Unless if they're in the kitchen, they could hear it, but outside the kitchen, they're not going to hear it. They're not going to hear too much at all, which is really, really awesome. And I tried to like reduce the noise on some of my exercises the best I can, which has been working out really well. But yeah, that's the weirdest stuff. I also have gym flags right here, no limits, only gains, and then rise, fight, win. This is about like 5 foot long and about 3 feet tall. So yeah. And I have Hatsune Miku and Vocaloid right here. I have Hololive and Genshin right there. And I have some manga right there. Yeah, Valkyrie and Miyu Hayama. And I have Squat Bench Deadlift right there. I don't really know what else to print, but like the cool thing about these posters is that like if something happens to them, they're pretty cheap to replace. Like these are washable as well. Just in case they get stained or whatever happens to them, they're washable, which is really nice. And then these I got from Five Below, and they always have a few of these in stock, so they're not really that hard to replace. And these are just like, I just printed these from the printer, and I have like a backup of like these files to print, so I can always reprint them, just in case like something happens. And then, you know, this right here is going to be the same case too, but like, you know, I have like a Mike Mentzer quote on this poster right here. I guess it's a simplified version. It's like, you do not know how good you can be until you try. So let's get with it. And it's like there's like a collage of like my favorite people that I like in terms of like the fitness industry. Lex Little, Sam Sulek, Mike Mentzer, David Lade, Eric Buchenhagen, Brian Shaw, El Campion, Trent Twins, Tom Platsley Priest, and a bunch of different people. Kevin Larone as well. Chuji Mufu. I would have had this printed in color if I wanted to, but I don't really have color printer. So I just like changed the filter to black and white filter and just printed these out and just made like a little fun personal collage. And then the back of here is just cardboard, and then the back of here is just like super good. Not super good, but like hot glue. Hot glue gun, yeah. So I guess that explains about everything in this home gym. It's about 100 square feet or 100 square foot or 10 by 10 or 10 square meter home gym setup tour. I try to explain everything in detail, so this video is going to be long, but I did the best I can. This has took some time to explain everything. But I tried to explain like everything through my perspective, through my mind, and why I have those things. And then the rest of this is just storage up here. I used to use this rack up here to hold a bunch of different stuff, but I got rid of it, and then my family members just like screw this back on and just use this as an extra storage to put crap up here, and the rest is just boxes of stuff. And yeah, that's going to be about it. Since all the natural sunlight and weather goes through my home gym, especially through this these windows, since in the past this used to be a greenhouse in the past, I do have to use air conditioning for the summer, and I also have to use some heating in the winter. To be honest, it's not the best when it comes to air conditioning or heating, but it still at least does something, right? It still gets its job done, and it still works, you know? So, like, if I'm sweating way too much, you know, I just, like, after I finish my set, I just walk up to here and just cool off for a bit, you know? Or, you know, if it's, like, winter, and I'm just straight up just way too cold, I guess all I can do is just like turn up the heat for a little bit and just do my workout after that. But the natural weather does go through here in the natural sunlight as well, so you can kind of like use this as like a sunroom for a little bit if you just want to have like some sunlight without like going all the way outside, you know. You can just chill in here and get all the sunlight through there, and it does work really, really well for that as well. You know, There are sometimes some days where, you know, I don't really want to go outside, but I still want to get my sunlight. So I just stand and chill, or like sit down in this room and just chill and just get my vitamin D that way, and just feel the natural weather for a little bit as well that way. Um, but you really get to feel the natural weather in here, but you know, there are plenty of times where I don't like it, so I just use like the air conditioning or the heater. But maybe in the future, possibly I could spend some money on really just upgrading this up and making this a lot more better. But it still get its jobs done currently, and it has been serving me really well for a while. I do love these things just because I still consider them a luxury, even though it doesn't really spread out through like the whole room. It only spreads out to like a part of the room, right? But you know, when I'm like tired or done during my set and I want to either like, you know, cool off or maybe get like heat up for a little bit if it's winter, I just either stand next to like my air conditioner, or I just stand next to the heater for a little bit. And then after that, I just go back to resuming my set and the rest of the workout. And just chilling after that. But I know this video has been way too long, but I just wanted to explain every single detail about this home gym, since this is the final version of my home gym and like the final tour basically. But yeah, I hope everyone has a good day or a good night or whatever time you're watching this. Just get a last 360 real quick. Yeah, right there, right there. There. Right there. There. Yeah. And then down here too. Get a little bit outside. There as well. It's really dark since it's night. And then, you know, a bit of the kitchen. And yeah, that's it. Have a good one.